All right, guys, meteorologist Elliot Wilson here with another episode of Wilson Talks Wellness. And you may recognize this guy from about a month back. Our own Chris Williams interviewed him. This kid is a super soldier, to say the least. You are a power lifter at Gatesville High School, and I know your guys' season ended a couple months back, but I couldn't believe what I heard when Chris was telling me you had a squat of 815 pounds.
Yes.
I mean, most professional powerlifters may not even get that high. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. And how old are you now?
17.
17.
I'll be turning 18 next month.
Oh my gosh. I mean, at that age, that's just extremely rare and just unbelievable. So let's just kind of start from the beginning like I do with all my guests. Tell us how your fitness journey got started. I assume you played some sports growing up?
I played football, yeah, and I started working out freshman year. I would go in the mornings, I go fifth period, and I would go after school every single day. And some days I would do heavyweight, and then sometimes I would do kind of like lightweight. I would switch in between on some days, and sometimes I'd go run on the track. And that's pretty much it. And I wasn't on a diet plan or nothing like that. I just ate whatever I want and just kept working out. And that's kind of how I'm built like this.
Yeah, and then that's another thing about powerlifting. I mean, you can eat a lot of different things, and it makes sense. You have to eat a lot anyway because you have to be able to move a lot of weight.
Unless you're in a weight class and you don't want to go over that weight class, then you
That's
really
true.
can't. Yeah, for powerlifting, I couldn't eat a lot because I was in the 275s and I couldn't go over that limit, so I kind of had to watch what I ate.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then because of that, did you ever get tired or anything? I know sometimes when you have to eat a certain amount and you want to eat more, you kind of get groggy or tired. Did that ever affect you?
Here and there I would, but not all the time though. Sometimes if I do, I just, get over it because, I have to do the workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so you started doing workouts your freshman year, and so you said you went multiple times a day. Was that a weight training session every time you went into the gym, or was it cardio sometimes? How did each session go?
Well, I'm in athletics, and we were in off season, and we would run I'd say Tuesdays and Fridays, and the rest was just weight room. And sometimes we would do squat, and we'll do deadlift, and then on some days we'll do bench, and then we'll do incline. It'll switch here and there between there, but yeah, we'll do a little bit of cardio. We'll run on the football field and just run around the track, and we'll do sometimes we'll run 40s, and we'll do a lot of stuff, a lot of running.
Yeah, and then you mentioned you played football for, how long did you play football for?
I played football, are you talking about just full high school career, just in general?
Just in general.
I played football since I was in first grade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I never stopped then.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's kind of what led you to getting into shape and getting strong, because it's one thing to play sports when you're a young kid, but then once you get into high school, everything changes, and the weight, you have to do a certain cardio regimen, a lot of HIIT training, and then of course the weights. I'm going to make the assumption that in high school when you were playing football, is that kind of what led you to eventually doing powerlifting? Because obviously in football there's a ton of weight training as well.
Yeah, I mean, freshman year, I didn't start powerlifting freshman year. I started sophomore year. Mm-hmm. But what got me to do it is that I was managing freshman year. I managed one meet there at the Gatesville meet in the weight room, and I was seeing how everybody was just doing so much weight and how cool it looked, and how you could take that on and go to regionals and state and stuff like that. Yeah. So Coach Moffitt kind of influenced me this year because I was a basketball manager freshman year too.
Oh, nice.
And he kind of told the coach not to put me as basketball manager and told me to focus more on powerlifting. So I kind of got influenced that way, and then I just kept training on there, and yeah.
Nice. And then I assume in football, because I had it this way up north as well. I'm from Indiana, so we don't have powerlifting up there. We're not as cool as Texas. So I imagine you had do you have the big board where people would write use chalk and write the record or whatever? Do you have a board like that?
I mean, we did have a board, but it wasn't with chalk though. It was with a black marker. And
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got the chalk the old school, but yeah, they always have most teams, and I'm glad they do this, to have a number up there who's lifting the most, because then it just becomes a really good challenge for the other players too, because they'll see, oh, this guy lifted that, now I gotta go and try it myself. So when did your mind, because I know with football, it's not always how much weight you can lift. You want to be in good shape too.
Yeah.
When did you make the transition to, I want to be able to lift as much weight as possible? When did that drive start for you?
Well, freshman year, on squat, I did 550, and I'm just well, I'm a freshman, I want to see how far I can go, because I'm already I was 14 at the time, so I wanted to, max my potential and see where I can go in squat.
Yeah.
And buddy, I did it. I did it.
I mean, over 500 pounds at age 14. Now I want to ask you, like, when you first did the free squat, what was your first weight that you did? Like, how much weight did you start off with?
Like, just like very first.
Yeah, like the first time you ever squat, like how much weight did you do? I'm just curious now.
I think the very first time, I think it was 315, and that's all I can remember is 315.
Oh my gosh.
It was like no less than like 300 pounds.
That is insane. And then how did people react to that? Because most people when they're freshmen, when they first try to do squat, maybe they do 135, maybe 225, but 300 pounds your first try, like how did people react to that?
They reacted like they were all shocked.
Yeah.
They were like very shocked. Like they didn't even know what to say because I was like one of the only few freshmen that ever did over 500 pounds, even over like 300 pounds, really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 'cause even getting over 300 pounds in fact, even some seniors came and do 300 pounds on squat, depending. I mean, that's just insane. And then how did you feel after doing that? Did you feel sore after, or did you feel like, I can do more?
Well, usually when I max out, like the coach told me no more because, I'm young and I'm doing 550 pounds. He didn't want me to go more than that because he didn't want me to hurt myself. So he wanted to ease out like on the squat. And yeah, I felt good about it because there was also seniors, like I was a freshman. So like there were seniors like squatting and I got more than what they got.
Yeah.
So I felt really good because like we have this little chart and it shows like there's like the little record, like the school record,
right.
And then it has like the top 5 like squatters, and I was like on the number 1, and then like one of the rest were just like seniors.
And then they're probably like, man, now I got to work harder. A freshman just showed me up. I mean, oh my gosh. And then so then it just progressed from there. And what was the progression like? Did it take you a long time to get to that 815 squat, or was that journey somewhat easy for you? I mean, sometimes it's easy for people, sometimes it's not.
It was kind of somewhat easy, but I feel like I could have gotten that potential, like I would say junior year, because sophomore year, which is like 2020 when I was like in my sophomore year, that's also the same time around COVID, so that kind of destroyed, because I was supposed to go to regionals in 2020, and I felt like if I would have carried on what I was doing, because like before I went into regionals, or before like COVID hit, I squatted 700 pounds at the West meet, which is the meet before the regionals. And, we went into COVID, so I didn't work out. I was at home, like, I was kind of just, losing my strength a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt like if COVID, like, let's just say we just got rid of COVID, I felt like I would have probably done a little bit more if I would have just, done 700 there, and then went to regionals, did a little bit more, and then me and Coach Moffitt, like he's my coach, we would have known what to build off of from like sophomore year, but we had to completely start over because of COVID.
Yeah, and that's one of the worst things is like, because when you're working out, I always feel like the strength is going to come last. So it's the worst, like when you have to take time off and then you lose strength first before you lose muscle, just because your nervous system and whatnot. So having to get back on track was probably discouraging at first, because you probably got underweight and it's like, this used to be easy, now it feels a little bit harder.
Yeah, usually like if I do come back after a long time without working out, it would just take me usually like a couple squats and I just usually get back into it. But when I came back, I was already good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. Now, without COVID, do you think you would have gotten to 1,000 pounds?
I think that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
I don't know about 1,000 pounds, because that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot I would have to deal with. It's just with squatting, it's having to balance the weight, because when I did 800, I had to balance the weight on my neck and stuff like that, on my back. And 1,000 pounds would take a lot for me to like balance on my neck. So I don't even know how that would feel.
Yeah, and that's another thing people don't realize about powerlifting, especially when it comes to squatting and benching, and even deadlift too. It's just the balance. Getting a good stance before you do anything. That can be one of the hardest parts. The stabilizer muscles and whatnot. So. Yeah, I mean, that's just a whole nother mind game for you.
Because if I don't get it balanced, I'll fall with the weight, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
We do not want that.
Have you ever fallen before?
Not really fallen before, but I'd say that one time, it was this year, it was 843, and I was squatting it because I went past where I was supposed to. I went past my depth level, and I kind of like went back and I kind of fell back, but like it wasn't because like it was too heavy. It's because I went, a little bit too low. But like I never just like fell from like up top or nothing like that. I never did that before.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that could.
Like I can keep it balanced. It takes me a while though. I have to like widen my legs out, And it takes me like, I'd say like 5 seconds and I'll be good.
Yeah, and that's just the hardest part, because I mean, so I work out a little bit. I can't do 800 pounds on anything. My deadlift max is 335, which is okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I got ways to go, especially after meeting you. But I mean, even when deadlifting, like the hardest part is, just trying to get your feet right. Sometimes you feel like your feet are off because you want to make sure everything's right. Because even if just a little thing is off, you may not get it.
Yeah.
And that's the worst. Like you get halfway up and it's like, or just the same on a squat. Like you're about to go up and then you lose it.
I hate deadlift. I just hate it so bad.
Really?
Yes, it's like one of my worst lifts, like in powerlifting. It's one of my worst.
Really?
I mean, like I would say 600 pounds, but I got max on it, 610, 615, around there. But like, it's just so hard. I think it's because I'm short, really, because like how I'm built. Because I've heard from other lifters who are built just like me, they say they also hate deadlift, and I just hate it so bad.
Yeah. Well, I think because you're shorter, I wonder if it probably goes into your lower back a lot more.
Yes, it kills my back.
Because with the really tall guys, they feel it more in the quads because they have to bend down more. But and there's also a misconception, like they think, oh, well, if you're a short person, deadlifting is always going to be easy. No, I mean, because you're going to feel it in your lower back.
Yes.
And you can't bend down too much because you're already close to the bars. So, but I mean, that's still good. So 600 pounds is your max on deadlift?
That's the most I've ever gotten in my life, too. I don't even know if I can go past that.
Yeah.
But like squat and bench, I'm building up around there. And I might build a little bit much on deadlift, but as far as I know, 615.
Yeah. I mean, that's still something to be proud of. John Cena just got that, I think, a couple years ago.
John Cena?
John Cena deadlifted 600 pounds. I want to say in 2018. He mentioned it on Jimmy Fallon, but yeah, so you could possibly be stronger than him.
Oh my God. I remember looking at him as a kid. Stronger than him?
Yeah, I mean, because I think he's about 40 now, and he got 600 pound on the deadlift. But I mean, yeah, so that's something to that's something to be proud of. I don't know what his squat is, but you probably squat more than him.
Probably, but looking at how he's built, it could be a different question. We don't even know.
Yeah, but I just thought that was really cool. And so of course now that we heard about these high numbers that you have, one of the biggest questions for people seeing this, and other kids may watch this, even adults as well, people are going to want to know, like, what's the secret to the strength gains? Like, how do you get to an 800-pound squat? I mean, unless you don't want to reveal it, but like, are you able to give us any tips on how we could actually get close to that?
I mean, I would say if you have good genetics, or just keep working out. Just keep working out. That's what I did. Like, I have no secrets. I just like went under the bar freshman year and I just did a whole bunch of weight, and I was just about as surprised as everybody else, because I never thought in my life I'd be squatting like hundreds of pounds, like, ever.
Yeah.
I thought I was just gonna rely on football, but until I did that freshman year, that just changed everything. But I have no secrets besides just work out 3 times a day and make sure your body's right, and then just make sure you're at a good depth level when you're squatting, and yeah.
And then so that brings me into the training for powerlifting that you do at the high school. So you'll lift weights 3 times a day. Like, you'll squat 3 times a day?
I mean, you don't have to squat 3 times a day. Sometimes I'll just like squat, like, I'd say in the morning, like, or like one of the workouts, like I would say like maybe in the morning or afternoon or somewhere around there, but I won't do it 3 times a day because I feel like that's gonna kill your legs. You need to like relax your muscle,
right?
Because it also depends on how much weight you do too, because if you're doing heavy weight and you're doing that 3 times a day, that is going to kill your thighs.
That's true.
That is going to like mess up your whole muscles in your thigh level. So I don't think it's best for you to do it 3 times a day heavy weight.
Yeah.
But
like, so what'd you do those other 2 sessions then? So if you train powerlifting 3 times a day, what lifts do you do each day?
I would say dynamic workouts would be good for you, like in between those times. Cause like dynamic's not like heavyweight. It's kind of like just like, light, easy, like kettlebell, and it's like not like squatting, benching, deadlift. It's like workouts like besides that.
Kind of like accessory work?
Yeah, kind of like accessory, yeah.
Okay. And then I assume one of your workouts also probably specializes on explosiveness. Because one thing to be able to lift the weight, but part of powerlifting is you got to be explosive too, because that works your nervous system, which is, for people that don't know, muscle and your nervous system. That's how you get strong. I mean, those two factors right there. You could include joints as well, but I really think the nervous system and the muscles are huge. So I imagine you do a lot of explosive training as well?
Yeah, like dynamic bench press, for example, like we would go down and then we would let it hit our chest and then we just explode up just to train on that.
Yeah, it's like as fast as you can.
Yeah, as fast as you can.
And then do you use resistance bands?
Sometimes I use resistance bands. I don't do it a lot though. I do it like once or twice here and there.
Because that's a really good plateau breaker too. I know sometimes in powerlifting they'll train that and
yeah.
And you'll feel a difference like immediately. Like even if you're new to working out and you've been doing a bench press for a while, you put some bands on, like even with lightweight, I mean, it changes everything.
Yes.
Like you'll be shaking afterwards. It's like, wow, just because it just changes the strength curve and everything. So now you're going to be turning 18 soon. So are you a senior right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I assume you're going to do powerlifting in college?
In Houston. I'm going to, as you can see on my shirt, I'm wearing TSU, Texas Southern University. That's where I'm going for school. But I'm going across the street, like I think it's U of H, I think that's what it's called. That's where I'm going to be working out because I'm in USA Powerlifting. I forgot to mention like that, USA Powerlifting.
Wait, so you're on an Olympic team right now?
Well, is it an Olympic team, like USA Powerlifting, like USPO?
That I'm not sure.
I didn't know if it was a Olympic thing.
I mean, if you're on a national team, like national powerlifting team already, that's huge. How long have you been on that team for?
I just joined. Like after I got done with state, I just joined the team because I wanted to continue on lifting and seeing how far I can get in like all my lifts. And I just qualified for nationals of this year, but my coach told me to just slow down because I just joined. So she was telling me to go to the one next year. That's going to be here in Dallas. Because the one here, I mean, not the one here, but the one like the nationals like this year, it's going to be in Las Vegas.
Oh,
yeah, that's
nice.
a little bit far out. So I'm just going to go to the one next year.
Oh my gosh! And then I assume you're training for that now, and now.
Well, as of right now, I'm taking a little break.
Mhm.
You know, because I'm a senior and everything's. I got to go to a lot of things and stuff like that. So I'm just taking a little break. But as soon as summer kicks in, I'm just working.
Yeah,
I'm working.
Getting ready for it. And what month is that next year? The competition?
Oh, you said for the nationals this year?
Yeah, because you mentioned Las Vegas.
I think it's next month. I think it's next month is when it is, or it might be a month after that. I think it's around. I think it's around like summertime.
And you're going to compete in that next year, you said?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be in Dallas.
That's awesome. And then where do you plan to go with your career? I assume you're going to go into some kind of career with powerlifting because it's obviously your strong suit.
Yeah, I was gonna like besides like powerlifting, like I was gonna just like go to school for business, and also go to real estate school. Like so, like after I get done, because you know you can't do powerlifting like for the rest of your life, because you know your muscles are gonna get weak, so you need to take a little break.
Right.
I was thinking I was gonna be a real estate agent, and yeah.
Nice. Would you ever consider trying to do like Olympic powerlifting, or maybe trying to compete with like Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall or one of those guys one day?
Maybe, but like the Olympic lifts are a lot different than powerlifting because like it's a lot to deal with like, you know, I forgot what his workout's called, but like, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the cleans and snatches.
Yeah, cleans.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and one thing about me, I'm terrible at that. I think the only lifts that I'm good at are the ones that we do consistently in the weight room at school, which is just bench, squat, deadlift, and that's about it. And
well, those are the most natural lifts too.
Yeah.
It's not really natural like to do snatches and whatnot, but and nobody really likes doing that anyway. Very few people do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, would you ever consider a career in powerlifting, like going pro or doing anything like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just to see how far I can go.
Yeah. And
I
then,
want to like max out my potential because one of the coaches said that I can, like 1 year, they can give me to squat like 1,000 pounds, and like that's like a lifetime goal right there.
yeah. And you're less than 200 pounds away from it.
Yeah, I know.
Is that mind-boggling? It's like you're almost that close to 200 pounds, or that close to 1,000 pounds in a way.
I think about it every single day.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot.
Oh my gosh. And then something else I want to ask: since you squat this much weight, do they have to have like a specialized bar for you to be able to hold all that weight?
Mm-mm. It's just the same amount. Like I went to a state meet and a lot of people, I think it was maybe like 1 or 3 bars, or 1 to 2 like it was a lot of bars that were being like broken because it was just so much weight being thrown on them. They were like bending, breaking. They had to put them in the bag.
Something else I want to ask you about, because you mentioned you train multiple times a day, and that can be really grueling on the body. Do you What kind of supplements do you have? Do you take whey protein, BCAAs? How do you recover from these workouts?
Okay, so I used to take pre-workout. I would say I did it like freshman all the way to junior year, but I kind of stopped a little bit because I didn't want to it just kind of like makes me like afterwards, like the after effects, it's just like, it makes me like kind of like not focus. Like, I mean, like, I do focus on weights, but that's like the only thing I'll focus on. Like, I don't like awareness and stuff like that. So I kind of just stopped taking it this year. But I used to take it like a lot, like junior, sophomore, freshman year.
Just give you that boost?
Yeah, just to give me that little.
So now you don't take any pre-workout at all? Like,
I might go back on it though.
Yeah.
I just want to take a break this year.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember in the interview you did with Chris, I think your coach mentioned that like you're unlike most powerlifters, like you're calm when you approach the bar. Like most of them are like amped up and ready, but I mean, how do you do that? How do you lift this much weight and stay calm? Like, do you ever get like really amped up, or do you just do it as your coach says? Your coach, I think one time said like, yep, he'll do the weight, and then he walks away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just because I just want to stay humble a little bit. I don't want to like scream and feel like I'm like this big tough guy, because like, I mean, well, a lot of people like say that I am, but like, I'm just like a really humble person. Like, I just don't want to like look like I can just already do it, because this is like most of the weight that I do I've never really done before. So like, I just want to act normal and just calm and, you know, stay focused on what I'm doing. Because if I just focus too much energy about screaming and stuff like that, I feel like I'm gonna mess myself up, and I feel like I'm gonna scream and do all that and then go into there and mess up, and then it'll be worth for nothing.
Yeah.
So I just stay like humble and quiet about it.
Anything else you want to add about powerlifting that maybe people don't know, or any advice you want to give them?
The advice I would give you is just to keep working, don't give up, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the consistency, and I know, because it can be hard kind of waiting for results sometimes, but you know, like we've said, like strength takes a long time. It takes a very long time. Like you see, whether it's him or Ryan Shaw or all those guys, I mean, it takes years and years of just dedication and watching how you do certain things, and I mean, everybody's different too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, because like, you know, I've seen people that like train, like overtrain themselves. I wouldn't do that either, because you don't want to hurt yourself too.
Yeah.
So like, I would just take it lightly, like start off really lightly, and like if you feel like you know you can do a little bit more than that, then just keep, you know, just adding to yourself. But like, just don't like, you know, if you see somebody else doing some heavy weight, don't like try to copy them and like hurt yourself, because you know, yeah.
Yeah, that just leads down a bad road. And of course, you get injured, you got to stop working out, you got to recover, then you start over.
Yeah, and then you can mess up like some of your muscle or like ligaments or something like that, depending on how bad the injury is.
Yeah, and it can be lasting damage too, and that's like every weightlifter's worst nightmare if they can't like do a certain lift anymore, they can't move a certain way. It would just be a nightmare. But yeah, lots of science in powerlifting, and of course, it's fun. You know, who doesn't like lifting weights, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
Who doesn't want to lift some heavy weights? So I encourage you guys to start, whether it's powerlifting or bodybuilding or anything, start weight training. You know, start small and you work up, and you never know, you may hit the weight like this guy does. So thank you for coming on the show. Ryan Smiley, everyone, and we'll see you guys next time.